Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Just Daf It. Daf Yevamos here. We're learning Yevamos of Kufted Vav 115. We just began the 15th parak. We're talking about the Eidus of an Isha, that she's Nemenes. She's believed to allow herself to remarry, or even any aid that would come. One aid would be enough to allow her to remarry. But if there's milchama going on in the world, there's a war raging in the world, she's not necessarily believed because she assumes he died, but she didn't see all the gory details, and maybe he didn't die. So now the Gemara, we're going to start from the bottom. Kuf Yudal Mud Beis, the last line. Hichzika hi milchama ba'olam. Basin doesn't know there's a war going on, as we said in St. Lucia. She was in St. Lucia. They didn't know there's a war going on. Mao, mi amrina mali l'shaker. So we say it as a common expression in Chazal, mali l'shaker. What does she have? What does she gain by lying? If she really wanted to be believed that her husband died, she could have just said, there's no war there, my husband died, in which case she would believe. So the fact that she goes out of her way and says there was a war there and still he died, so she should be believed. No, the fact that she establishes a war there, so once we know there's a war there, again, she is not able to accurately tell us whether he died or not. The loss of Mali L'Shakar, Mali L'Shakar is not powerful enough to ruin the chazaka. She has a cheskas eishazir. She was married to the guy. Tashma, ishinu aleinu bayis, ishinu aleinu ma'ara. If a woman says people broke into their house and they lit their house on fire, or they were in a cave with her husband and they lit the cave on fire, who mace, and she claims that her husband died, I needed salty, and I was saved. Eina ne'menes, she's not believed. So you see what? We didn't know there was a fire there. A fire is similar to war over there. You're not sure if the person died in the fire. Still, she's believed. So the fact that she's believed shows that we say Mali L'Shaker. Shiny Hassan, the Amar La Kechid Lidcha Israch Shnisa, Aldidi Nam Israch Shnisa. So that case is different over there because when you say there was a fire there, obviously she's not looking into whether he really died or not. She just ran away really quickly. So just like you had a miracle, you're able to escape. Your husband also was able to escape. He escaped some other direction. In the war, at least, there's more accurate reporting where she sees, like the Gemara says, that he was hit by a sword or hit by a spear or an arrow. So therefore, there's less chance that he's alive. Tashma naflu aleinu ovdei kochavim, naflu aleinu listim, hu meis v'nitzalti nemes. So if she says that the ovdei kochavim attacked us, the bandits, the listim attacked us, she says he died and I was saved. Nemena, she's believed. Hasam, so why is she believed over there? Right? Again, establishing they were attacked by robbers is the same thing as establishing there was a war there. Right? So you should assume Mali L'Shaker. So the Gemara says, Hasam G'darav Idi, Damar of Idi Isha Klei Zayin Aleh, a woman, she's believed, a woman is believed about herself, right? Isha Klei Zayin Aleh, she carries weapons on herself. A woman carries weapons as opposed to a man, because an enemy would rather rape the woman than kill her. So therefore, we could assume that she was saved and her husband died. So therefore, she has namanas over there, but maybe in a different case she doesn't. Who gavra the b'shili hilule itle nura beganani? There was a certain case in a wedding, right? The arson, he lit a fire under the wedding canopy, and the husband and wife were there. Amra lu to be told, chazu gavrai. His wife was running away. See, my husband's burned. Asu chazu gavrai. They went and they saw that that a man was charucha, was burnt to ashes. Shadu the shadi who pissed up the yadei shadya. And his hand, part of his hand was cut off, and was lying there. So Rav Chia Barav and the Meimer Hainu Shino Alena Bayis Shino Alena Marriage, like she's believed over there. She's believed over here also. Amarava Midami Hasam Lakam Chazu Garai Chazu Gavrai. There she didn't say, look at my husband. Oh, Gavra Charucha the Shadi Upasta the Yad the Shadya. There's a big proof over there, right? There's a big proof that the husband actually died. Because it's burnt to shards, and they were the only two people under the wedding canopy, right, when they're taking pictures after the wedding. They're the only two people left, so, and you see part of his arm, so probably it's the husband. So the Gemara says, Ema inish achrina asa latzule v'achalti nura pasa liyad l'shad nura itlaya v'tialid be'muma umachmas kisufa azal v'arak la'alma. Gemara says maybe deflects the proof. Maybe that's not true. Maybe some other person came to save them, and the husband actually was saved, and he ran away. The husband, and because he lost part of his arm, the husband. I'm explaining according to one way in the Rishonim. He lost part of his arm, and he's embarrassed. He has a mum now. He's missing part of his arm. He doesn't want to return to his wife. That's why he ran away, but it could be he's still alive. So the Gemara really doesn't answer the question of this Mali L'Shakir, does it have Nemanis or not? There's two opinions. How do we resolve this halacha? The Rambam says because it's a suffix, so therefore if she remarries, we don't remove her from her second marriage. According to the Rush, no, since it's a suffix, she has a cheskas eishis, she's not permitted to remarry based on the Mali L'Shakir. So the Gemara says, in war, right? We normally don't rely on Isha, the woman herself, to tell the husband died in Milchama. What about an Eid Echad, a kosher Eid Echad? That's what I like to say over here. Time with Eid Echad, Mehem Mishum, the Milch David Leglio Hulam Meshaker, Achanam Meshaker. And Eid Echad is believed because Eid Echad, I explained previously, Eid Echad has partial Nemanos, a kosher Eid Echad. In addition, there's an Umdana, right? The circumstantial evidence that it's going to be found out if this husband's really alive, so therefore he's not going to lie. Maybe there's a general rule that an Eid Echad or any Eid Echad, even a Apostle Eid Echad, is Neman because the wife herself is going to check into it. And I explained previously that it's not that we believe the wife, she's Apostle Eid, it's just that the Koach HaTaina, because we make the Chumras at the end, and there's a little bit of proof that she looks into it, she doesn't want to marry somebody else and then be removed from both marriages and have a mizera from both kids. So therefore, the koach hataina, right, her taina, if she goes to a basin, right, she has to go to a basin and get it approved. So then we believe the basin is allowed to pascha in that case to let her remarry. Here, we don't have such strong proof in the middle of a war. So therefore, we can't rely on an Eid Echad, another Eid Echad. According to this side in the Gemara, we would say the Eid Echad we're relying on would be Apostle Eid Echad. Those are the two sides in the Gemara. We rely in wartime. Do we rely on Eid Echad, or we even rely on Apostle Eid Echad, just like we rely in combination with Daiko Mitzvah. Amar Rabbi Rechama Tashma, Amar Rabbi Akiva Kshirat Naharda. When I went to Naharda, L'Aber Shana, I went to calculate the years to know when there's an Uber year, a leap year. Matzati Nechema Ish Beis Dali. I found the person who used to live in Eretz Yisrael, Nechema Ish Beis Dali, who was from Delhi, New Delhi, Amar Li Shamati, there's no New Delhi in Eretz Yisrael. Amar Li Shamati Shem Messina Seisha Yisrael. You heard they're not allowing women to remarry in Eretz Yisraal. Pied Echad, based on testimony of one aid, Ella Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava. Except Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, V'namti Lo Kenat Dvarim. Rabbi Akiva agreed to him. That was true. Amar Li. So he says to Rabbi Akiva, Amor Lahem Mishmi Atam Yodim Hamadina Zum Shuveshes Begaisos. You should know that the reason that Eretz Yisrael is filled with armies, there was a lot of war going on there. I have a Kabbalah from Gamliel the elder. I marry off a woman even with Eid Echad. My Medina Mishuveshes Begaisos. So what did he mean when he said that Eretz Yisrael is full of armies? The reason he added that fact in was to tell you that even though we know there's a lot of armies over there, you still rely on Eid Echad. So you see Eid Echad, a kosher Eid Echad, or maybe a apostle Eid Echad, we believe. Alma Eid Echad Mehemet. So you see an Eid Echad, believe. Amar Rava, Yehachi, Maishna Medina Zu. Why do you say this Medina, Eretz Yisrael? Kol Makom Sheish Gais Mibayalei. Should have said any land. What is the difference of Eretz Yisrael or Spain or somewhere else? El Amar Rava, Maratam Yodnish Medina Zu, Shemeshes Gaisos. All he was telling him was that Eretz Yisrael had a lot of armies. But left surely the Mishpach, Inshi Basim, Maisi Kami Rabban. I can't go to Eretz Yisrael because I kind of might die over there. So therefore, because I can't go there, I'm telling you the Kabbalah of Gamliel Zakin, Shemesina Yishal Pied Echad, but not necessarily if there's a war there. He's just saying this in general. The rule is like that, but maybe not in the wartime. We wouldn't know the halacha. Tashma. They were coming on a boat with him. The Tava, and the boat drowned. The Hasi Rabbi Nosha saying Alpinashim. There were women on the boat, and women survived, like the Titanic. The women and the children survived. The men died. And Rebbe allowed the woman to remarry based on these nashim. Hamayim k'milchama dam. Hamayim, right? Drowning is like a milchama. V'nashim afilu meyak eid women, even 100 women is like one aid. B'ktani Hasi, and he allowed them to remarry. So you see what? Even a puzzle is Nema. This for a Mayim Sheil himself, Mayim Sheil himself, Yishto Asura. It was a case where the water, there was no end to the water. You didn't see that there was a place that the priest could let escape. And Mayim Sheil himself, we paskin that the woman remains usher, she can't marry because just like we can't see the end of the water, maybe the husband came at the other end, or we can't see, and he escaped the water. What's the case that they believe him? The Amri Askinu, come on. The men, after they drowned, they floated up to the top of the water. The Chazinu, the top of Kuftet Vaman Beis, out there, and we saw them immediately. V'kamri Simonim, D'lava Alayu, Samchina, and Ela Simonim. V'kamri Simonim, sorry, and they said Simonim, they had proof on the body of the person, right? They had a scar on it, on his face, or I don't know, he was missing one of his fingers. I don't know. They said they saw Simonim on the people. This is their husband. We're not relying on the testimony of the woman. Ella Simonim, you're relying on Simonim. Simonim can have a validity d'oraisa when it comes to returning a mitzvah. So therefore, Simonim they're relying on the Simonim, not on the Eidos. Ho Gavra, so we can't bring a proof. Ho Gavra, the Ifki Shum Shmegabi Chavra, a related case. Someone, I don't know, the article says he gave sesame seeds to his friend, he deposited them. I guess sesame seeds are very valuable. I don't know what it means. Amalei Havli Shumshim, he came, give me my sesame seeds back. Amalei Shegaltinhu, you took them already. You have a chenuchen havyam, but he said no. There was 50 grams of them. I don't know, 2 kilos of them. The chavisa ramen, they were in a barrel. Amalei Dilcha Shaltinu Vani Achrininu. You took yours, and what's in the barrel now? You can go to the barrel and look. But what's in there, I refilled it with my own stuff. It's the same case as this case where the boat, we assume these are the Talmid Chachamim. We rely on the Simonim. He has a scar across his face. So therefore we rely on that it's them and not somebody else. Amalei Rava says, what's the proof? Me dami hasam kamri Simonim. Then they say valid Simonim. Haka shumshum my Simonim yislehu. He doesn't have a proof of the Simonim. The Kamar Chen Chen Havim. In fact, he says a certain amount. It's very possible to have the same amount for his own sesame seeds. Amalei Mark Shisha B'rei Baruch Yisrael Ravashu Michashina and Shem Pinon. Are we concerned actually that he took them out, he put new ones in, that we rely on what he says, that we don't believe the depositor? Vatnan Matzah Kli V'Kosav Alei Kuf Korban Mem Ma'isar Dal Damua Tet Tevel Tav Truma. We found this is the way they used to mark the kalim. I think that when they do excavations, the archaeologists, they have found certain kalim with a tuf or certain letters on them. They used to mark these things in the time of Bayis Sheni. They would write a kuf for things that meat that was korban, mem for things that are ma'aser. Dal is dimua. Dal is a mixture of truma and chul, and we don't know if it's less than 100, so you can't eat a tuf. Tevel, ted is tevel, and tuf is truma. So they mark these things so people that were forbidden to eat these things shouldn't eat them. Shas zakana you closer than tuf tachas truma, right? Because of the time things got mixed up, they would write simonim. Amalei Ravina Ravash V'lo Chashin Hashem Apinat. Are we concerned that maybe he took out what was there and put something else? Ema Seifa, the Gemara says, retorts back. Rabbi Yossi Omer Afilu Matzachav because of Truma. Harei L'chula. No, he says no. We do say that he put something else there. Shani Omer Eshtakat Havam Oli Truma Apinat. Rabbi Yossi seems to advocate that we assume that even though you had Truma there, now it's Chulin. You put something else. The Chuli Alma Chayshin on it. So the Gemara backtracks. Everyone agrees we are Choshesh, like Rabbi Yossi says that they took something else. Rapinan. V'haka b'haka miflegi. Mar Savar Imisa the Pinu Michvar have a kafar. The Machlokas in the Tanakh. Normally, like we are Choshesh Shema Pinat, and therefore the person who says that the sesame seeds are different ones, I took them out, I put new ones, we believe him. Here, the Machlokas in Tanakama Rabbi Yossi, Tanakama says we don't not Choshesh Shema Pinat is a different reason. He said the Pinu Michbar have a kafar. If he took them out, the Kantana Kama says he would have erased the letter because now it's chulin. V'idach ama emar ishtuli ishtali. And Yossi says no back. No, maybe he forgot to erase it. Inami lefanche shavke, or maybe the reason he kept the letter tough truma even though it's chulin, he didn't want people to take it. He wanted it for security reasons. Therefore, he left it over there. Yitzchak Reish Galusa barachti Rav Bibi havakazel mekurtevel aspame. Yitzchak Reish Galusa. I guess he was a mayor of some place. He was the nephew of Rav Bibi. He was going from Cordoba to Espana. I guess there are two places in Spain, Cordoba and Spain. I guess the capital of Spain. I guess Madrid maybe. The Shachiv, and he died. Shalchol Mahasam Yitzchak. They sent the document over there. Yitzchak Reish Galusa barachti Rav Bibi havakazim Cordoba to Espana b'Shachiv. And that's what it stated. This person, they said all its familial, relationships. He died. Do we have to worry? There was another Yitzchak there, and can we let his wife remarry? Abai Amar Chashina. Abai says we have to worry about a second person. Rava Amar Lo Chashina. Rava says we don't worry. We pass like Rava. Amar Abai Mina Mina. How do you know I'm right? Who gave the Shtachim in a harda? There was a certain get that was found in the harda. Kasev Besad Klona Masa. Ana Androlinai Naharda Pataris Vatarachis Yasponis Insi. The Shalcha Avu the Shmuel, the Kameder of Yehuda, there was a certain case. They found a get. It's at a place of Kolinia, a city, I guess, in Bavel. His name was Andrulai Naharda from Naharda. I gave a get to my wife. Shalcha Avu the Shmuel, the Kameder of Yehuda Nasiya. Avu the Shmuel was unsure what the halacha is. He sent the document of Yehuda Nasiya. V'shalach to Badek Naharda Kula. He said, go check the entire Naharda. Maybe there's another person named Andrulanai. Andrulius, I don't know. Andronilus, common name back then. So you see Abaye, like Abaye, that we are concerned that it's another person. Rava Amar, Imisa Yibade Kol Elam. If you're really concerned, why just check that city? You have to check the whole world for a person. Elam Mishum Kvodu Avu the Shmuel the Shalach. Avu the Shmuel was unsure of the halacha, so in order to spare him embarrassment, he said, go check the city. You really don't have to check. Really, the halacha is we could rely on it. Haki Shalach Haki. I'm a Rava Mina Minala. Rava says, what's my reasoning? You don't have to be choshesh for another person. The Hanu Trey Shtari Dinafkim Mechuza. There was two Shtari Chov, right? Loan documents that came, they were found in Mechuza. Kasis Chavi Bar Ninai Benani Bar Chavi. These were backwards names, right? The Agbi Bahu said the names of the creditors. The Agbi Bahu Rava, these, and they identified themselves as Chavi Bar Nana Benani Bar Chavi. The Agbi Bahu Rava Bar Avua Zuzi. He was able to collect whoever owed him the money from those people with these shtaros. This was a common name back then, so how could you rely on these documents? So you see what? If the person presenting it, the document with his own name, we don't assume it was came from somebody else. We take into the fact we don't concern for the miyut, right? We go after rov. That's we'll have to discuss this machlokes tomorrow maybe. If Abaye, Lamai, what would Abaye reply? Lamai neichoshla. Top of Kutez Ayim and Aleph. Lamai neichoshla. Isn't a fila. Right, Rabbi says the reason you can collect over there is because there's nothing to be worried about. If they fell from somebody else who had the same name, people are not so negligent when it comes to the loan documents. You give it to somebody else to watch it. It came with the Shmei Kishmei Lamifka Gabe. He wouldn't give it to someone with the same name because they know the other person is going to try to collect with him. Maybe he gave it to him, as a Kenyan. He paid for it and he has the same name. Osios Nicholas from the Syrian. Maybe it's not a Kenyan. No, it is a Kenyan. Because just giving a star over, Osios is another way for a star. It's Nicholas from Masir. We paskin, or at least a discussion. This man our paskins that it's Nicholas from Masir. Just giving it over to somebody else gives you acquisition of the loan document. And therefore, you have the 100% right to collect with it, even if you're not the exact person. You just have the same name. That'll be the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Ian with Ben Sion. We're going to discuss the first case, Mali L'Shaker. Why should Mali L'Shaker, even though it works B'chol Tarakula, now work over here? You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.